Hello world, again we have another episode to you of Open Heart Surgery. As you may know, we talk about real life situations. We talk about anything that brings trauma and pain to your heart, anything that you have buried and you just want to bring it to the forefront, or just your daily emotions that you go through. We we do surgery on you, and we do mental healing. So we are not doing a physical operation. We are not physically cutting you open. I am not a heart doctor. Just have to let that be known. So we just basically focus on trying to recover, trying to heal mentally. And that mental healing will kind of help your physical healing. Again, I'm Shada. As you may know, Shada Kanzada. I am the founder and CEO of BWYA, Be Who You Are. Today, I have this beautiful young woman with me, and I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Keenu Scott. I am a new published author of The Indomitable Queen, a memoir.
Ooh.
You can visit Keenu Scott, Keynu Scott.com to pre-order your copy of The Indomitable Queen. This memoir tells about the trials, truth, and trauma that I have endured from childhood to my adulthood.
Wow, that's great. And just want to say congratulations, because
thank you.
I have written 2 books, published them, written them, and I published someone else's book. But the process is it's serious.
Yeah, it's very tedious.
You think it's simple and you think you have it all down, and then you get it and you're like, yep, I'm doing this, and it's like, oh, make this correction and make that correction, and we gotta fix that. So that is a big congrats for that. Everyone, go on the website, definitely pre-order your book. If you don't get a chance to pre-order it, share it with someone, and then order it when it do come out. We got to support ourselves. We got to support our Black businesses, our Black writers, our females in general, any race. We just got to be more supportive and help each other. So we're going to start diving in on this show. I always ask people, anyone on the show, I always ask them to sit and kind of reflect about something that's going on with them that's causing pain or trauma in their hearts, or something that they buried. I always say just reflect, because if you don't think about it, you just talk about your daily life, or you talk about something that's common that's going on. But when you actually sit and you reflect, you were like, well, dang, I never talked about that.
Right.
I never brought that up.
Wounds.
Yes, hidden wounds. And, maybe you can give us a little sneak peek or some insight on the book.
Yes, definitely.
Right here on the show.
A lot of hidden wounds that I'm, bringing to the light, exposing. I want to help other people, pay attention to the red flags of family, of friends, of lovers, because you just never know. You got to dig deep within you and figure out why and how you are the way that you are.
Right. So, reflecting.
Right.
And viewers, you guys start reflecting as well. Can you tell us about something that that caused pain for you?
I guess I'll start my adulthood. Something that caused the most pain I've ever experienced in my life was being married to a narcissist. If you aren't familiar with what a narcissist is someone who is very self-centered. All they care about is themselves. They don't care about others unless there is a benefit. So in most cases, dealing with them, they do have an ulterior motive. I'll say that I went into my marriage blindly. I didn't get a chance to, know my spouse until the very end, when we were headed down the road of divorce, which sadly it wasn't the greatest divorce, but it fixed my vision. It broke my heart, but it also fixed my vision as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes, when you don't listen to God's voice and you decide to do your own thing, that's what happens.
We often do.
That's what happens.
So I definitely know that there is someone that can connect with this story.
Right.
Especially, it might not be Georgia. It might be all over. But I know in Georgia, when I moved to Georgia, I've really seen just the chaotic marriages. Yes. And I was like, whoa. Like,
I can agree with that.
I mean, I don't know if it's because a lot of people down here get married at a young age and they're not ready. But it's like, these marriages make you not want to get married. Right. I'm like,
you got men out here, they got wives and kids at home, but they don't mind stepping outside for something that's temporary, something that's not going to last them long. They have their forever at home, and they'll step out for something else.
Yeah, right. Marriage is not being sacred.
No, it's public. Everybody knows. It's no secret. Some people, they don't care. You marry? Oh, okay. I'm a little more attracted to you. You're married. You're somebody else's.
Damn. That's what it's been. Us females, we definitely have to stop it. Because it's like, if you see a man married, a lot of females be like, oh, well, he take care of his wife, so he gonna take care of me.
Right.
And they will keep entertaining it.
Be on the path to destruction, you know, because God didn't create somebody else's husband for you.
Exactly. So, guys, if you know someone that's dealing with something in their marriage, or you know someone that married what'd you call them?
A narcissist. They can be females and males. They aren't just males. More times you hear of male narcissists, but there are some females out there as well.
If you know someone, share this video. Share it, like it, subscribe to it. So we're going to dive in a little deeper on this situation.
Okay.
Just a little. We need you. We about to cut you open. We need you to reveal why you called him this. Like, why did you call him a narcissist?
Okay. I called him a narcissist because one day I sat and I did a checklist of everything that was going wrong in our marriage. And I'm like, something just isn't right. This isn't just first year blues. This isn't just, your standards are too high. I'm like, something's just not sitting right.
Right.
Being that I'm a criminal justice major, part of that, you will take psychology classes. So I remember reading about narcissism and psychopaths and the signs, red flag, well, not necessarily red flags, but signs that you're dealing with a narcissist.
Right.
So I did a lot of research on the internet that made me feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that, hey, it's not you, it's him. And when I looked at everything that a narcissist is made up of, that's what my husband, now ex-husband, fell up under. And I'm like, wow, like it was very traumatic to know that our marriage was a lie, that he's a lie. He's just someone that plays the part that he can play to get what he wants. And there's a reason why I selected him. And that I'm working on internally. That way I don't continue to attract the same type of people.
Smart.
But it definitely originated in my childhood as to why I chose that type of partner.
Woo! So that's a lot. We're gonna diagnose you right now. We're gonna diagnose you with a heart transplant. Today you're gonna get a new heart. We gonna cut this old one out. We're gonna ship it out.
Cut it, burn it.
Burn it. And we're gonna give you a new one today. Cause we don't want to deal with none of that.
No.
We don't want to deal with none of that. And the fact that you were smart. A lot of people do not have the ability to process what's going wrong. Right. You had the ability to say, hold up, pause. This is not how it's supposed to be.
Right.
Let me reflect. Let me do some research. Let me check this out. You checked it out. You got your information. And what I like most is you didn't sit on that information and ignore it. Because a lot of times we know, like once we know something ain't right. We know we're doing wrong. but we so selfish, or we so just want what we want. We like, I'm gonna keep doing this. And I have done that in my life. Like, I know I'm not supposed to be with someone, or I know they're not the person for me, but it's like,
it's what's familiar. That's why we stay with them, because it's what's familiar, and we have that fear inside of us on what can happen on the other side. We don't know that there might be a better man for us on the other side. We would rather deal with what's familiar to us.
And that's so true. And that's what happened. And so this is what these videos is about. Like, just basically exposing. Like, we are exposing ourselves, and as we exposing ourselves, we are exposing those who are listening, those who are watching this video. And when there's exposure on something, knowledge comes. Because if you don't talk about it, if you don't expose it, no one will know. So we're going to expose this whole situation, like just failed relationships, marriage, ladies, us doing our part, because so many times we don't do our part. We just go along with the flow. Like, okay, this guy want to date you. Okay, I'm gonna date him, knowing he got somebody else. Or like, the most I've heard before, and I think I even used it one time when I had to check myself, was, well, I'm not sleeping with him, so it doesn't matter. But it do matter. Like, it's no justification. It do matter. Like, you entertaining the conversation. Emotional attachment is way worse than physical.
I know all about that. And you know what? The attachment part sometimes, well, me personally, I know it comes from having daddy issues. I get attached to guys that show me interest because I had and I still have daddy issues, and you know, I'm looking for that love that my dad didn't give me. And so that's sometimes how we end up in these very toxic relationships, because we're trying to fill a void,
looking for that security. Like, I will say I did not have daddy issues. My daddy was around me all the time. Like, I was a daddy's girl, but I was like daddy's little princess, so I would not, you know, I didn't ask daddy a lot of questions. And so I was just like, every man is supposed to treat me this way. You go with that them same expectations, like my dad told me this, or my dad treated me this way, so he's got to do it too. And when a man didn't treat me that way, I would act like my mama. I would go off. And it would,
same here,
and it kind of just brings like destruction, into a relationship.
Definitely.
But going back into like, this is what you chase this, you look for this because this is what you did not get. Growing up, there's a lot of women that has daddy issues, and it shows in the choice of men. But have you now, like, now that you know this, have you figured out a way to like fix it? Or
the best way I can say that I have fixed running into these type of men again in the future is by setting boundaries. And setting healthy boundaries sometimes requires reaching out to a second person, such as a therapist, someone that can help you align what was once destructed in your life. That way you can be on a new path to greatness. That's something that I find very beneficial for me. That way in the future, you know, the signs that I once ignored, I'm not doing that again. Boundaries, yes.
Oh, Jesus. Like, I should have had a definition for that one. Boundaries, that's something we don't talk about.
No.
That's something we do not talk about in the household. Growing up, and this is just looking at different people households, or should we say the Black household?
Because that's where it's the most prevalent, I feel like, because a lot of us have the same story of parents with the same, you know, attitude growing up, and then as we get older, that's when we like, something's not adding up.
We wasn't taught boundaries.
You were taught do as they say, but not as they do.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so boundaries is great with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Boundaries in your workplace, boundaries with your spouse, boundaries with your children, boundaries with your friends. You, how should we say it, not put yourself in a box. Put yourself in a space where no one should be able to enter this certain space that you have.
Right.
Because when they enter that space, now you're in a danger zone.
Right.
And we're gonna call the danger zone your heart.
Mm-hmm.
We don't realize how much of our heart plays a big part in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wanted to do this show. Because your heart is really the life. And if you're destroying your life, if you taking years off your life, you're incomplete. You're dying. You're useless.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a failed heart, you're useless. So when you said that, that kind of struck a nerve, like boundaries. We never talk about boundaries, and today we're gonna talk about boundaries.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm with it.
So the first boundary that you set between you and your ex-husband, what was that, and what did it feel like?
Okay, so after the marriage was dissolved, we still have a child together.
Mm-hmm.
When our son was first born, the first boundary I set was, when you come in my house, you're only to interact with our son. You don't have to say anything to me. You're not allowed to go in my refrigerator. Because one time, he thought, okay, this is my ex-wife. I can just go in her refrigerator. One point, he was like, oh, I need to wash some clothes. And I just let him. And then at one point, I sent him a text message. I said, look, we're not together anymore. Where you're living at should have a washer and a dryer.
Yeah.
Where you're living at should have food.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not responsible for that. We just have a kid together now. So, that's on you. He got upset. I sent him that text message. I said, hey, from this point on out, when you come to my house, you're not allowed to be in my bed, sleeping, lounging, all of that.
Boundaries.
You're not allowed to be in my refrigerator. You're not allowed to wash your clothes. Simple as that. He didn't like it. He didn't like it because... who I once was to him is who he thought I still was. He thought, okay, this is my ex-wife. Well, she was my wife. Maybe she's still in love with me. Maybe she'll, do the things or soften her heart for me like she used to. Like, no, when she wake up, there's no coming back from that.
Woo! That is, boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
First thing we have a problem with doing is setting those boundaries with someone that's familiar with us. That, from them being familiar with us, meaning our old loves, our family members, our friends.
Right.
It's hard to say no.
Right.
No is a part of
saying
boundaries.
yes for so long.
Right.
Like, wait a minute, you told me yes before. Like, yeah, I told you yes before, but this new me is saying no.
Yes. Out with the old, in with the new. I can't be who I used to you. Right. Because once we said no, once we said move on, once we said boy bye, girl bye.
Right.
It was it. That was it. So I had to tell my son, Dad, like, you are welcome to the bathroom, the living room, and your sunroom. There's no reason for you to be walking in my room. Right. There's no reason for
looking through my stuff. Like, you ain't gonna have this whole thing back.
No.
You better go back to where you came from.
And baby, let me tell you guys, they will get mad. They will get so angry because they're not used to it.
Right. Like, who is this new?
But you have to set those boundaries. No, that ain't gonna work. No, we ain't doing that. No, you cannot go past. You cannot go in my room. You cannot lay in my bed. I'm not with you. Like, just no. No, you can't borrow no money.
No.
You tell your friends that too. Like, no, you can't borrow no money. Money is the root of all evil.
Right.
Money will break up relationships.
Oh yes, it definitely. And you know what? That's another thing that caused a problem in my marriage. Money, finances. Anytime we talked about finances, it was always a disagreement. His money was his money. Don't ask him for anything. You do it with your money. Oh yeah, it got real.
But we won now.
It got real. We won in other ways, but when it comes to the money, no, we set apart. We set apart.
Now,
that's the mentality he had.
Right. That's stupid.
We win when we in the bed.
Oh yeah, of course.
But we too when it comes to the money.
And that's what I think too is people don't understand marriage either.
Right.
Because it's like you get married, and I'm not married, but I know I'm not married because I'm not ready yet.
Right.
I want to be married, but I'm not ready yet. And when God prepares me, He gonna make that happen. But to me, it's like a lot of people become married and they just like don't know what to do or don't know how to be in a marital relationship. Like you have to, for one, you connected, you're one. You know, death do us part. You got to start operating as one. Like a lot of people have conversations and agree to things without checking with their spouse. That's number one wrong. Even if you know your spouse gonna say yes to what you agreed to, you
make sure you keep them in the loop.
Right. Well, let me just talk to my husband, or let me talk to my wife first, and then I'll get back to you. I think the lack of knowledge,
the lack of respect, the lack of boundaries,
respect, all of that plays a big role in a lot of divorces.
Oh yeah. And see, my parents have been together 28 years. I'm 27. And although they did not have a perfect marriage, I just, remember my mom and my dad, when they would leave out the house, honey, I'm going to this place and I'm going to that place. Right. It's not a matter of trying to keep tabs on a person because you don't trust them. It's a matter of accountability. Hey, I'm going to this place. In the event that something happens, this is where I'll be at. This is where you can come and find me at. But some people in marriages, they don't understand things like that. It's, oh, you're trying to keep tabs on me, or, oh, you don't trust me. It's like, no, I want to make sure you're good because things happen all the time. You never know.
But what do we have to show us this? Like, we have the big booty Judies online, on social media, on the videos. We got the guys talking about F this girl and keep a trick, and we don't want this and we don't want that. Like, the level of beauty have been redefined. Right. Like, I know growing up, beauty was true. Nia Long was like the most beautiful thing. She was natural. She was short haircut. Natural was in. Like, we didn't spend hours beating our faces
or hundreds of dollars on hair.
Like these, you had your little cornrows, right? You had your cornrows, or you had your little hair pressed, or you had a ponytail, but it was just like, and you didn't have these extreme, you wasn't trying to like go get surgery, go get.
Oh yeah.
If that's for you, that's for you. But I'm just saying, they have the social media and the internet and television has changed
everything,
what beauty is.
And now, you have people out here that are trying to mock the relationships that they see on social media. Yeah. You don't know what she's going through behind closed doors. He could be beating her every night. He could be cheating on her every night. You just never know. And you're over here saying, oh, their goals, their big goals. So I want to do this, or I want to do that. Like, no, you don't know what that person is going through. They may not tell you. They may dress it up, make it look good. But she's losing herself. She's losing her soul to this guy. And you over here saying goals. It's ridiculous.
It's very ridiculous. Going back to, what gave you this pain for your heart. Going back to, you're open now. You're on the table.
Right.
Was it did you have like, was the pain of you knowing that I have to leave my husband, or you know, we're about to get a divorce, you know, I have this new baby, did you ever like lash out on your child or lash out on yourself or have suicidal thoughts or go into depression?
I went into a lot of depression mode. There was a lot of nights that I cried myself to sleep, that I had flashbacks about things that he had done and said to me. I felt like I didn't enjoy my son's childhood as much as I should have, because I was so caught up in, you know, what his dad was doing to me. He was cheating on me with another girl. And so I'm like, you know, I didn't have that support with my son as I needed. And everything combined, and, you know, with the family issues I was having as well, it made everything be like a dark cloud over me. And it was very hard to snap out of that for a while.
And that's normal. What I would say, because a lot of us go through pain, and the pain, we get so numb to the pain that's all we feel like we deserve.
Right. Like, so that's our worth.
Yes. So then we'll keep going to the same pain, or if we leave that pain, we'll go and get into another relationship that causes pain. And it's like, okay, when do we stop this pain?
Right.
When do we evaluate our situation?
That's where I'm at right now. Went through what I went through, and I'm at that evaluation stage.
Woo! See, right on the show. How many years?
How many years since it's been since my divorce? It's been like almost 2 years since my divorce, but you know, every day I'm awakened to more and more stuff like, okay, I understand why I did this, and what can I do to fix it? How can I help others to see, like, hey, this is not where you have to end it. There's life outside of that. Yeah.
I was going to say, it took me 2 years to fully come out of my failed relationship. I will always be like, oh, I'm over it, and I'll try to date. And then I will blow the whole date, or like just like dating a person, I will blow the whole little startup of the relationship, because I'm like, I can't trust this man.
Right.
All the stuff that I went through was coming out in this relationship, and this person did nothing to me.
And you know what that is? It's because we try to say to ourselves and others, I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. We're trying to make ourselves be over it. And that causes premature issues. When you're not ready to let it go. If it was just as simple as letting it go, I'm sure we would all just let it go. But that pain is so deep because that bond was very deep. Therefore, the hurt is deep, and we can't just rush the pain and the healing. We have to feel every single emotion, and it doesn't matter how long. You
learn from it.
It don't matter how long.
You have to go through every bit of pain so you learn from it.
Right.
Growing up, making money, my dad used to tell me, like, okay, take your money and buy what you want. And I'm like, I want to take your money and buy what I want, and I want to keep my money. And he's like, no, because if you spend your money, then you gonna value what you spent your money on.
Right.
Because you're gonna be like, it took me a minute to get this money, and I brought this, and I'm not gonna let nobody destroy my phone, destroy this, because I paid for it, and I know how hard I worked to pay for it. And that's the same thing with us going through these failed relationships, or the pain of anything that we're going through in life. When you take the time to not brush it off and be like, I'm not going through it, it's okay, I'm a boss, I'm this, I'm not hurting, he ain't do nothing to me, I'm gonna go find somebody else.
And that's what a lot of females do today. And you know what? These rappers just make it
hard.
They don't make it any better. Like, they advocate for that. And that's why there's so many hurting females too busy trying to be a boss. Oh, I'm over it. F him. He got that little girl or whatever. But we're not acknowledging what we went through. We're just trying to brush it off to please other people. And they probably got their own stuff going on.
And so after those 2 years, I'm more like 3, about to be 4 years out of this thing. And so when I decided to let myself feel the pain and bring it to reality that this is what you're going through, this is what happened, it's okay.
Right.
You're going to recover. Now, I don't got time. Like,
oh yeah,
because I know what I went through, and and you refuse to go through that again. You know how long it took you to get out of it.
Oh yes.
You know how you felt. You know every tear you cried, every pillow you squeezed, every prayer you said.
I hear everything you saying because that's me. That was me.
Exactly. So ladies, like, don't be afraid to say, he hurt me, I'm hurt, I gotta go through something, and I gotta deal with it. And give yourself time to feel that pain, to get over that pain. Give yourself time to actually process what has happened to you. Because we will just look at it as like, oh, I'm over him, or I was in a relationship and he cheated and that's it. But it's like, mentally,
are you
emotionally, he just broke you down. That plays with your self-esteem. That plays with your mind. That plays with your heart. That plays with that even plays with you if you're a parent. Because I remember one time I was like, well, dang, now I got to raise this child by myself.
Right.
And
you weren't ready. Like, oh, I thought we was going to be a family. And now here you go. You having to jump into strong single woman or single parent mode.
But I will say, now that I've been through that process and I was able to process it and look at everything, I wish I would have known about the boundaries.
Oh yes, those boundaries are something else.
I wish it would have saved me a little less time. Because it took me 2 years to fully come out of everything. But if I would have set boundaries, I think I would have been out of it faster.
Right. Same here. Mine actually went a little faster than, because my ex has a couple other females one before me, one after. And it seemed like it took them way longer to snap out of it than me.
Right.
So I'm very grateful it took me less than a year to really understand the type of person I was dealing with and how I need to handle him from here on out. Because if you don't set boundaries, especially with a narcissist, they will screw with you mentally. And you don't want that. That's what they want. That's, what they thrive off of. That's their way of supply. Like, oh, I got her messed up. She loves me so much. She don't even care about herself. And no one out here is worth that type of relationship. It's just not.
At all. So, being that you went through all of that, and you felt every bit of the pain, you cried, like you let us know, like I had nights I cried, things like that. Did you ever, like, okay, I don't trust men anymore, I'm going to go to a female?
I had the thought, but
that's real.
I can't entertain it. Like, I just couldn't see myself with a female. I like men, and I also know that that's against my belief system, so I couldn't do that. Because hey, it's females out here that are breaking other females' heart too.
Exactly. I asked that question because we have viewers, like, we never know where this video gonna land. Right. And there's a lot of women that I know been hurt by men, or been raped by men, or men, broke their heart and they went to the opposite sex. Right. And a lot of people don't have their faith or their belief to stand on. They don't have that foundation to remember, like, okay, no, that ain't the way to go. Right. Like,
I had the thought, but I could never entertain the thought. Like, it's just not in me. It's just at one point I was really hurt, and I'm like, maybe I should just, creep over to the other side. But that's not going to make it any better. It's really not.
Not at all. We just got to be open. Like, it got to be raw and real on the open heart surgery show. Right. And that was real, because somebody else would be like,
No,
Nah,
I've
never
had the
that
thought.
thought.
I definitely had the thought before, but I know I can't do that, especially because I have a son, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't want him to think that's okay.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say to your younger self, your newly wed self, or
What I would say to my younger self is to know your self-worth, know what you bring to the table, and don't settle for anything less than that.
Yeah, and that's some true and that's some good advice, ladies. We so many times we think we know who we are. We think we know that, you know, we'll stand up for ourselves, but we don't. If you don't know who you are, my dad used to say, "Oh, if you don't, what's this saying? Like, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything."
Yeah,
Right.
And you know what? I've been there. I used to fall for everything. You know, a guy would say we had a mutual attraction. He could say something, and I was instantly like, "Whoo, okay."
Right. Fairy tale. I had to realize that I've always had a standard. That was not an issue. Like,
right.
I've always had a bar you had to climb up and get. But once you got to that bar, I kind of relaxed my standard. And I was like, oh, he made it, so everything's perfect. Not knowing that you got to kind of keep that bar there. Like,
right. You can't slice
this is what I require. And this is what it requires to love me. And if you love me, you're going to meet those requirements. And I'm not talking about, like, God, I mean, everyone. I'm not talking about, like, financially and, like, oh, you're going to buy me this, buy me that. No, I'm talking about, like, respect, morals, belief. Like, this is where we at right here. And you either on here with me or you're not.
Right.
And so
there's no in between.
I knew what I wanted. And I knew who I was, but once I fell in love, I kind of started to fall into what he wanted and what he thought was right. It was even times where instead of like building myself up, I was so like, oh, I love him so much and he has potential. Let me build him up. And I got exhausted. Like, wait a minute. Like,
we do that and they break us down and it just goes from there.
So I would definitely say to like my younger self is to have patience. Growing up, I watched every fairy tale there was. Those was my favorite like cartoons. I wanted the fairy tale story. So the first man that came along and showed me real love and wanted to love me, I was like, I'm gonna act like I'm married. I'm married. Like I'm gonna treat him right. I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna do this.
Me too.
And it was like, he don't get all of that yet.
That was me too before I got married. Thinking that was gonna solidify me a spot in his life, and he would do right.
We play the wife role before it's even time. Like we be young. One, we're young, so we need to just live life. Two. Once you already given them those wife duties and you showing them,
why buy the milk when you can get the cow for free?
Why they gonna work for anything?
Right.
They like, ain't no need for me to marry her. She doing all the things that I need her to do now.
You know, I know of a couple people too. It's just like they're anxiously awaiting marriage 3-4 years later and still no marriage. Like, you already gave him what he wanted, sweetheart.
Exactly. It ain't no, I was good on, oh, come over, I cook you dinner. No, we going out. You're going to get home cooked meals when we are married. Not while we dating. While we dating, dating means go on a date.
Yeah.
Like, we going out on a date. You going to take me out on a date. Those are some boundaries that we need to set. I definitely would tell myself too, for as the patient part, just be patient and just know that God has your best interest.
Oh, yes.
And that we don't know. And that He's going to send the right person for you in time when you are the right person for that person and when that person not the right person for you. because all of this is just trial and error. Like,
yeah.
I'm going through things, so when I get to the person that I need to be with, I don't have to make those mistakes because I already know. And everything that he needs, I'm going to have.
Right.
I'm going to fulfill it. And he's going through things wherever he at right now. So by the time he gets to me,
right,
he has everything that I need.
Reciprocation, simply put.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? That's why we got to have these good people on the show.
Right.
So that's what I would say to my younger self. So now we done exposed everything.
Mm-hmm.
We done cut the wool. We opened it up. We revealed that you had the wrong man. You had this marriage that ended, and it almost broke you. Matter of fact, it broke you, but not into pieces.
Right. Gracefully broken.
Gracefully
broken. Broke my heart, but it fixed my vision. And now my main goal is to make sure other women, can learn from what I've been through and apply it to their life, so they don't end up in the pain and the hurt and the confusion that I've been in.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that you embraced what happened to you. You're not denying what happened to you. You are recovering. And
right.
Like you said, every day you're learning a new piece. You're reflecting, you're still able to reflect, you're still able to learn,
mm-hmm.
and you're like, and I'm coming out of it. And
right.
on my way out of all of this, I'm going to share with others
mm-hmm.
how to come out of it.
I'm going to bring them with me.
Exactly.
Do this together.
Because we pulling y'all. Like, it's a lot of us out there.
Oh, yes.
And we just pulling you today. Like, we pulling you up out. We getting
mm-hmm.
this heart transplant. We taking this old heart out. We done threw that away, and we getting a new heart. Because when you start thinking new, when you start thinking ahead and for the future, we're not
right.
looking back no more. Like that.
Right.
We understood. We understood what happened. God, we learned our lesson. That's
right.
that's what you said. We learned our lesson, Lord. We going now. We moving forward. Mm-hmm. We done repent. Because even if it's not always 100% the other person.
Right.
We have our parts in it as well.
Right.
I'm not no saint. I know I had a part in my failed relationship. But it's like, okay, I repent from it. I learned from it. Now I got to move on.
Right.
I can't stay here. I set my boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I know what not to allow him to do. I know what to allow him to do. I know how far to go with anybody else.
Right.
And now it's like, now let's move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Are you comfortable with moving forward now?
Oh, yes. I'm definitely comfortable with moving forward, because I would hate to go back to my past or, deal with someone in the future that has the same type of personality. Like, I have to move forward. What's coming to me is going to be greater, definitely.
Greater is definitely coming. And that goes into, I like what you said, that what's coming to you is greater. Speaking life into what's next.
Right.
Speaking life into the future. You keep speaking it even when you pray.
Right.
And I had to learn the tongue is powerful.
Oh, yes.
It's like so powerful
mm-hmm.
that I would pray for things, and then when I get them, I'd be like, oh, God, I forgot to say this part. Like, what you asked for, you
right.
will get.
Oh, yes.
I'm like, God, send me a man tall and this and that.
You know what I have learned, though, with my prayers? Just as sure as I pray for God to send me a specific type of person with my own personal specifications,
mm-hmm.
when you get with that person, the best thing to do is to pray for discernment. And how I do that is I say, Lord, if this is not who you want me to be with, if there's something about them that is off, reveal it. Every time I've had it revealed, I was like, thank you, Lord, because it's just like, I don't know what else I could have, gotten myself into.
I was mad. Every time.
I was mad, but at the same time, later I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm like, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Every time I say, Lord, reveal it or take them away, he would take them away just like this. And I'd be like, why did I pray that? Maybe I needed one more week.
But
just
see,
what?
I used to not even pray that prayer at all. But
yeah.
I find it very beneficial now. And it has happened a couple times to me.
Yes,
I've even had one of the people I prayed away try to come back. But he didn't come back on a good note. He didn't try to apologize for what he did. He just thought, okay, here I am 6 months later, I'm gonna just get her like that. And I'm like, no. You know, no. And now he's just like, dang, it's just like that? Yeah, it's like that.
Right.
Because God revealed you, and, you know, I'm not repaying you to be somebody else. Exactly. I did that enough. I'm not doing that anymore.
And that's them boundaries you said, nope, not doing that. And another good thing as well is definitely you pray for God to do these things for you. You do the growth, like we have growth. Right. And it's like also being what you praying for. Like, right. We ask God to pray. I mean, we pray and we ask God for things, but we're not willing to give the person that comes into our life the same thing we're asking for.
Right. We have to be able to reciprocate that. We can't just like be one-sided about it, because it's not going to turn out well. And
one thing that I mentioned in one of my previous videos in open heart surgery is that one of the functions of the heart is that it receives and it returns. And so we always want to receive, but we don't want to return.
Right.
And if you got a healthy heart and you want a healthy relationship, you want a healthy friendship, you want a healthy familyship, I made that word up, y'all. You have to not only receive, but you have to return what you're receiving. And that goes with everything. That goes with, even with God. We ask Him for something, we have to return our 10%, our tithe.
Oh, yes.
We have to return the love and take time and give Him, dedicate time just to show Him love, because He is our first relationship.
Oh, yes. And you know what? The good thing I love about God is that it doesn't matter how far we stray away and how much we sin, He's always got our back. Yeah. He's always got our back. And I really love that about Him, because I know I've strayed away so many times, and, you know, some really bad situations, He has really kept me through all of it.
Yeah. And that's only He can do it. No
Don't rely on man.
Yeah. No human. No man has that type of love to do it, because, I mean, I've had friends that we've been friends for years, and then they'll do something, and I'm like, oh, I'm not talking to them. Like,
I'm at that stage now.
I'm cutting them off, and it's like, what if God cut us off?
I have a bad thing about disappearing. Like, once somebody's spirit snitches on them, I just disappear. Unless they ask me, I just disappear. I think that's kind of a bad thing to do, but at the same time, it's like,
I say sometimes you need to disappear for a while,
right?
But once you got your strength back,
let them know.
Yeah, as being a believer, you have to jump back in, and you have to pick up the pieces and say, you know, I apologize, but I needed to step away, and you know, what you did, I didn't like, but, you know, I still love you.
Right. That's true. That's very true.
And see that's that new heart working.
That's the forgiving spirit. And you know what? I honestly am saying I'm working on this right now. Like, I am working on something like this right now.
That's that new heart. I believe our heart goes through different stages.
Oh, yes.
From when you first born, a child loves any and everybody. You know, a child, they don't know, they wasn't taught hatred, so they like, I love your baby. I love
they
you.
Speak to everybody inside. My son does that.
Then your heart transition, because now you getting a little older, you like, you know, you a little older, and you seeing things and you learning things, and it's like, I don't like that.
Right.
Then your heart transition again, because now you're dating. Now you becoming a woman, and you know what you like, and you a little, you know. And so I feel like sometimes we have to shed, and we have to get a heart transplant when our heart is so damaged, and we have to replace it. And just going through everything that you just said, you know, that you went through, because what we fail to realize is one failed relationship can make multiple failed relationships.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
Just because it starts with your husband, just because it starts with your boyfriend, does not mean, or your girlfriend, does not mean that doesn't play a role in your other relationships.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that we like, good, get this heart, throw it away. We done got you a new heart. We putting it in there. It's pumping. That's new life. That's new relationships. That's the future that you have to look forward to. So we healed you.
Yes. No, thank you, Jesus. Brought it all out.
The healing process is starting.
Right.
We didn't fully heal you because no one is fully healed.
Right.
We always have post notes. We always have, post-ops where, okay, now the doctor done stitched you up. Here you go. He done wrote, we got to write a few prescriptions. This what you do. Go home. Get some rest for a week.
Right. Self-love, self-care. Cut out this diet.
So what I'm going to do, which I do different, which is so different because I'm used to giving out the notes. Today, I'm going to let you give out the notes.
Okay.
What is some post notes for people, for the viewers to go back and start doing, for you that you're going to start doing?
Making and staying on top of boundaries is definitely number one.
Yeah.
Asking God or whoever you believe in for discernment.
Yes.
And thirdly is know your self-worth. I cannot stress that enough. Know your worth. Once you know your worth and you boss up, can't nobody come and, mess that up for you. They can try, but you're going to be like, oh no, I'm not who I used to be. I'm not taking that now. You either get with it or you get lost.
So, Ben, setting and staying on top of boundaries. Asking God for discernment. And if anyone don't know what discernment is giving you that understanding, giving you that revelation, revealing things to you.
Right.
And third, knowing your self-worth.
Yes.
That
very important.
Perfect. That is definitely perfect. Guys, it is important to know who you are, know what's your boundaries, know what's your standards, and don't let anyone take you away from that. Because the first time you surrender to someone with anything that you set for yourself, that's just the start. You're going to keep inching. Okay, I'm going to change this a little bit.
Give them an inch, take them out.
Exactly. So definitely just try to start doing that. Also, last thing, it was at the tip of my tongue. Maybe it wasn't meant to be said because it was just at the tip of my tongue, and I was
It'll
like,
come to you. Might not be right now, but it'll come to you later.
It's gonna come on another open heart surgery episode. I'm like, remember, guys, I told y'all I had something to tell y'all. But definitely, people don't. Oh, it came to me. Bam! Don't be afraid of people not seeing you how they see you before. Seeing the new you. When you're transitioning into your new self, when you have a new heart, when you're becoming, out of the old person that you were, a lot of people are going to keep associating you with who you were before.
Yes.
How you lived before. They're not going to see it right away. And do not let that discourage you.
Right.
Never let that discourage you. Keep on moving forward. Let them know, hey, I'm not who I used to be. Stop looking at that old person. And keep moving. Because they're going to have a lot of negative things to say.
Yes.
Oh, don't act like you didn't used to do this. Don't act like you didn't used to.
Oh, they'll remind you quick. They'll remind you real quick. Oh, you act like you all that. Who she thinks she is?
Nope. Not at all. You just keep on moving.
Right.
And already expect these things to happen. And so today, not only did you talk about, you talked about just the relationship with your husband,
right?
But if you guys can't relate to a husband, just replace the husband with a friend, a boyfriend, a girlfriend,
right?
A sister, a
family
mother,
member,
right? Your child. There's a lot of people that don't have relationships with their child or have bad relationships with their child. Just replace that person and make it relatable to you,
right?
Because it's exposure. Once you expose a cut, once the cut is exposed, the meat is there. Everything is there. You see it.
There's no hiding it.
Exactly.
You can put a Band-Aid over it, but you know that wound is still there.
Exactly. So expose what is going on in your life. Expose what is hurting you in your heart. And choose today to throw that old heart away and get a new one. Get a transplant. Yes. And you ain't gotta wait for no donor list.
Right.
You ain't gotta wait. You're not on no donor list. You don't have to wait.
Your insurance don't gotta kick in
at all. It's all starting in the mental.
Right.
It all starts here in the mind. So operate on yourself. Lay down and be like, I'm going through surgery. I'm cutting it out. I done took it out. I put a new one in. Wake up. So, you got any close out?
No, and I want to thank y'all for watching, and I hope y'all learned a lot from us, and you can apply it to your life. Make sure y'all like, share, comment on this video, and yeah, that's all.
I'm definitely going to put all the information so everyone can follow you. Everyone can get that new book.
Yes, The Indomitable Queen. Y'all don't want to miss it.
That, oh my God, that title is just, it's strength in itself.
Right.
It's strength in itself. And wait till y'all see the book cover, because I was blown away by the book cover.
Yes.
So get the book, share the video. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking. And until we see you next time on Open Heart Surgery.
Bye.